Well, what has been the highlight of the day so far?
When Korea, she's the marginal, Korea, with the marginal code for the
On page 1 or page 34?
Page 1. Page 1.
Hey, we're going to call that a huge win. I came in to sit in for a little bit because I was like, I wonder how the heavy lifting was like launch went.
And she answered the question. Caitlin, I called her her first and I was like, that's Caitlin.
You're like, that's a wrap. No, what I was really excited about was seeing the IPD from yesterday carried right in its execution on heavy lifting loop, which was awesome. You called Jonah and you were like, what happened last night? Great. We're going there to page 34 and you dove right in. Xavier in the back. He picked out from the pigeons on his page. He got it. He got it. I was very excited about it.
With the letters and the
No, but he got partially there, which is a huge win. So keep doing what you're doing. And then on Monday we'll get some stuff on August, right? Or Tuesday. Yeah. Cool. Great. So we're gonna dive in. I think thank you for leading this. I'm gonna ask we're going to start like we always do, just high level. How are we doing on IA cycle goals? What are our IA1 cycle goals? Amazing. On track, slightly off track for vehicles.
on track, but still
Great. Why? Yep.
I'll name that for them as well.
Awesome. Great. I'm going to move this just so we can hear each other. Cool. So that is awesome. Today we're going to zoom in on, oh my gosh. Last week, reteach. What was your reteach goal around evidence?
So,
around assertion.
Yes. So my goal was for students to be able to pick out, be able to have the universal topic because the question was about speculative fiction. How is the possession considered speculative fiction? Where many of them weren't as concise as they could have been, even the ones who were considered exemplar. There was a lot of extra points with plot points. So deleting plot points from your assertion. Determining what the universal topic is, determining what the author's opinion is by saying they're warning about the overusage.
Beautiful.
And so my goal was for students to be able to do that. And I saw the growth in after having picked out the exemplar and discussing, I saw their growth in when they wrote an assertion for the fun they had.
Great. We're not going to dive into that today. Today we're going to focus on a different prompt, so we're going to bring us elsewhere, but we're still in the umbrella of RIA cycle goal because of the standard and the prompt itself. So this work, I believe, is from Wednesday. We're going to zoom in on standard 1. Standard 1 is written right here. Can you take 30 seconds and just jot down what do students need to be able to know and do to master standard 1?
I want you to
Great. What'd you come up with?
So dangerous, yes or no,
Yep.
and text evidence that supports that assertion.
Oh, great. You're already bringing me to my prompt. Let's stick with the standard for a second.
Oh, okay.
Literally here on standard 1 in 7th grade, what do students need to be able to do and know about evidence in order to master that standard?
So having an assertion,
Yep.
firstly,
Yeah.
with text evidence that directly supports that assertion, with then having an analysis that shows that they understand why they chose that text evidence.
Beautiful. And now let's look at the prompt. The mechanical hound is dangerous to humans. Agree? Disagree? Why is that a standard 1 prompt?
Because you need to have text evidence to be able to support either, especially because in this question, it can be agree or disagree. You can choose either or, but you have to be able to draw the text evidence and then have an analysis that ties it back to why you think what you think.
Totally. It's just about evidence support. Here is one of the 2 possible responses that students need to have in order to master. The other is the reverse, like not affirmative. It sounds like you already started to go there. I want you to take another 30 seconds, just jot down what's the criteria for success for evidence selection for this prompt. Excuse me, just the criteria for success for answering this prompt completely. Great. What'd you come up with?
Determine yes or no, and state that in the assertion. The why, so the why being quoting with text evidence,
Yep.
but then explaining what the evidence means and how that connects to the assertion.
Totally. I want to be clear. I know this came from the network lesson. I don't actually think that this hits the 7th grade bar for what we want in assertions. We're going to zoom in on assertions today. I want you to take a...
Do you need clarity around that?
Yeah. I want to take a second. I want you to try and revise this assertion so that it includes a clear counterclaim. And then let's come back together and share. Let's hear it.
Yes, the mechanical hound, and I want to do the no aspect.
Yeah. Yep.
Yes, the mechanical hound is dangerous to humans because although it is controlled by humans, it carries out the dangerous acts. Or no, the mechanical hound is not dangerous to humans because although it carries out the dangerous acts, it is controlled by humans.
That's what I have too. Why does that hit the 7th grade bar?
You need a counterclaim.
They need a counterclaim. So if you look at, just to punch, the PBA rubric for assertions, this is the ideas row, but on the assertion row as well, students need to have a comprehensive thesis or assertion. And implied and comprehensive, meaning answers all parts of the prompt, is that when there's a choice, whether explicit or implicit, in order to be considered comprehensive, meaning the assertion answers all parts of the prompt, it must include a counterclaim. Okay.
Which is the reason for the because.
Which is the reason for the because, or additionally also the structure of like even though or although. So mine sounds like even though some may say the mechanical hound is not dangerous because it is controlled by humans, that structure of presenting the counterclaim makes it comprehensive because it's addressing both sides.
Okay, and so I want to address something really quick.
Yep.
I think I didn't set them up for success in this because I told them you need to commit to one only. And so I don't think I explicitly said you need to be comprehensive in that. You're bringing up, because a student asked me explicitly, do I put a counterclaim? I was like, no, commit. So it's
All
an
good.
understanding of making sure.
All
We're
good.
on the same page.
So I saw some commitment in the stack, and the next time around when we have a prompt like this, we'll just adjust, knowing that they need to not just commit to their side, they need to be ready to act as lawyers and argue the other, or just the weakness of that other argument. So we're going to dive in. We're going to look just at assertions today, and we're going to quickly think through what elements of the criteria for success the students hit. So before we do that, though, read me back the criteria for success that you have for the prompt.
Determine yes or no.
Yeah.
Address counterclaim.
Address counterclaim. Thank you for adding that.
And for the whole thing or just the assertion?
Yeah, hit the rest of it, just so we have it.
The why, so quoting text evidence and explaining what evidence means and how that proves their assertion true.
Yep. Perfect. So we're going to look at a couple pieces of work and then pull a next step. This is Xavier. What do you notice about Xavier's work on his assertion?
There's no counterclaim. He flips, well, there's no question to flip, but he does tell me yes or no, he commits.
Yep.
But he doesn't give me a counterclaim.
Ashanti Marshall, new to our school this year. She didn't go through the elementary school and wasn't in 5th and 6th.
Okay.
What do you notice about her assertion?
It consists of text evidence.
Yep. So what's the gap there in her assertion?
Concision.
Correct. And we never include text evidence in an assertion. So she has a basic misunderstanding of like what an assertion is and how to structure a paragraph. Next, Amara Hines. What do you notice about her work?
She had the because, which is why she received a 3. But she doesn't have the although or the counterclaim.
If you could go back and regrade, how would you tweak her grade?
I would give her a 2, not a 3 out of 3.
Missing because no.
She's missing the counterclaim.
Yeah, agreed. Otherwise, the ideas after the because.
Is text evidence?
I don't think so.
Or it's more of a summarization of
I think it's summarization. I think
which
it
I
does.
think is necessary, which is why I give her.
I agree with you. Kiana Hopkinson, she was a 4 on last year's state test.
So her assertion is missing the counterclaim.
So it's not comprehensive. What else is it missing?
The because. So where Amara
Yep.
had a because it's being controlled by this, she doesn't have that.
Totally. And we're going to look at one more. This is Ade.
So he has the because, which if I'm being aligned with how I graded other people, I would go back and give him a 3 because I gave people who did the same thing, I said a 3. He doesn't have a counterclaim.
He doesn't?
Without mechanical hounds are dangerous because he does.
Yes, Ade.
You gotta work. He does. He's not spelled right.
No, it's
It
not.
might have been confused.
It took, yeah.
They still have. This is exemplar. I need to go back and change his grade.
Yeah, well, he would get a 3 out of 3,
Yeah.
right? Cool. So let's think for a second. First, between Ade's work and the recrafted assertion which you created, what's the gap in our high student work to the teacher exemplar? Concision. Now, Ashanti. Put her in the lower quartile here. What's the gap in her assertion between her work and the teacher exemplar?
Counterclaim.
Yeah. And I agree that's missing. What's the first gap that needs to be closed for her? I think the first gap is that she needs to understand, the assertion doesn't include evidence in it. Yeah, you said earlier. So, step one for her is, what's an assertion? And then finally, we're going to call Kiana a mid. What's the gap between our, mids and teacher exemplar?
No counterclaim.
So making it comprehensive. Yeah. Great. Let's talk reteach, okay? So summarize for me, what is the common error that we're seeing in students' work across buckets?
Sure. Counterclaim across all buckets. Or the comprehensive piece.
Yep. So say more about that.
So you'll notice that they'll say or use that first sentence, the mechanical hound is dangerous to humans, or the mechanical hound is not dangerous to humans, not telling me that they understand why somebody might have a different perspective, because in this question, it can be either or.
Yeah, so students don't understand that when their prompt is pushing them to pick one side, in order for their assertion to be comprehensive and address the prompt entirely, they have to address the counterclaim. Cool. What do students need to be able to know about assertions and prompts in order to close that gap?
Explicitly stating that if a question is asking you to agree or disagree with the statement, you have to be able to argue it.
Great. So prompts when picking a side, what else do they need to know?
They need to know the because statement. So it's not just the mechanical hound is dangerous to humans, it's the mechanical hound is dangerous to humans because it's summarizing a larger point or key idea.
Beautiful. And what do they need to be able to do?
They need to write their argument concisely. They need to have it because.
Yep.
And a counter.
Yep. So I'm just to flesh this out a little bit, I have the same thing. I think there's two other things they need to be able to do. They need to be able to write a clear criteria for success to answering the prompt. I think before they start, so they know, am I hitting comprehensive right now? Am I hitting all parts of the prompt? So I think, one, they need to, write a CFS for prompt.
I took off, I don't know if you saw it in my lessons, but
I did
take off the CFS.
I did. Write a CFS for prompt before starting. And then, two, I think they need, to know how to structure an assertion when there is a counterclaim that's needed. So it's what do you do with the sentence structure there? Even though, or although, or read back your counterclaim.
Yes, the mechanical hound is dangerous to humans because although it is controlled by humans, it carries out the dangerous, it's the one that carries out the dangerous acts.
So, how are you going to structure your assertion so that it addresses both parts? Great. Let's talk reteach, guided discourse, or modeling here. What do we believe is the best approach to reteaching this work?
So I really love the way I did it on Monday, the guided discourse. I'm having these three options on paper, having a CFS next to it, them choosing which one they think is best based on the CFS, and then rewriting this answer, or I'd probably pick something else that happened in the book thus far.
I agree with you. I think guided discourse could work here. I think that we saw so many students not understand how to go about doing this, that a model literally might be the best approach here, though. Guided discourse I usually pick when there's like 60% of the students are getting it. Mm-hmm. You just have Ade. He's your man, but mm-hmm. he's the only one. So I think your model might be the best approach here. Okay. Great. So I want you to take a second and I want you to think through when we can model, what the stimulus might be, and what that model would look like and sound like. Take 2 minutes to like script, think what the plan would be. I have an idea, and then we'll come back together. You ready? You can take more time if you want. All right, let's kick. What do you have?
So I'm going to name the back. So as I looked over our argument of whether or not the mechanical hand is dangerous, I noticed we were missing a few parts. Let's look at the criteria for success. I need a counterclaim, which is an although statement, and I need a quick summarization, which is the because statement. So I'm a lawyer through this prompt, and I have to argue. No, actually, I would say that. Hold on. Pretend I didn't say that part.
Yeah.
So listen to me as I say what we all were able to do. We chose a side. So I'm going to say, yes, the mechanical hound is dangerous. Mm-hmm. But I'm a lawyer through this prompt. So right now I have to put my although statement. So yes, the mechanical hound is dangerous. Although what would be the counterclaim? Mm-hmm. Yes, it's dangerous. Although humans are controlling it, I will put my exemplar.
Great, I'm going to stop you for a second. I love that you stated this really clearly at the top. I love this frame. I think 2 things so far. I think 1, I want you to, before you step into your model, give a clear thinking task for kids. So what do you want them thinking about while you're modeling the steps here?
Okay.
Because you're jumping into a writer mode right now, right?
Yeah. So as I'm modeling, I want you to think, am I providing a counterclaim? Am I providing a because statement?
I love how you align that to the criteria for success. I would have it literally be, what are the steps that you see me take to hit my criteria for success?
So this
I
is
want to
before
see
I
who can
even
find all blank number. So give a challenge.
I see Tim do this all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, Tim's good at it. The quick model. Great. I'm going to give you one more. I'm going to pile on. I think there's a step before you jump into structuring the counterclaim. And I think that starts with looking carefully at the prompt, rereading the prompt, and realizing that for it to be comprehensive, it needs to include a counterclaim. Okay? So let me model. I think it would sound like this. Your frame plus. I'm about to step in and show you how to write a really strong assertion that includes a counterclaim. As we do this, I want you to think, what are the steps that I take to hit my criteria for success? They're going to be 3. I want to see if you can get all 3 steps. Great. The first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to reread my prompt, and I'm going to think, what do I have to do to answer all parts of this prompt? A mechanical hound is dangerous to humans. Agree or disagree? Well, I know I need to clearly state my belief, but I know that because this is agree or disagree, I also need to state the clear counterclaim. So I'm going to jot down my criteria for success, state my belief, state counterclaim. Now I'm ready to move to step 2. My step 2, writing a strong assertion when I have to agree or disagree, is coming up with my own belief and the counterclaim. Well, I believe that the mechanical hound is dangerous to humans because it can attack and kill. But I think some people may say that he's not dangerous. Blah, 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 blah. Great. Step 3. Now I need to determine how to structure my argument. I'm going to use the words even though or although. And jot it down. Blah, 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 blah. Great. Cool. What did you notice me do in that model?
So you said 1, 2, 3. You told me explicitly what you were going to do. And then you stated the CFS through doing this.
Yeah.
So it's like, first I'm going to reread the prompt. What do I have to do to answer all parts? So I know that first I have to state my belief. Then I know I need to state the counterclaim. And then you restated that, but it was more so like, now it's time for me to write it.
Exactly.
And in that second part is when you, I guess we're like saying that out loud for yourself. So I know my belief is that the mechanical hound is dangerous because it can hurt human beings. But I know some may say, so there's my counterclaim, but I know some may say that it's not dangerous because it's humans that are controlling it. But then, now I need to think about how am I structuring my argument? How am I writing this down? I know I have to add my because statement, and I have to add my although statement.
Great. So I would say, and now I'm at my step 3. I have to determine how to structure. So you're stamping, okay, it's my step 1, my step 2 is my step 3. My step 3 is determining how to structure. And I'm going to use the words even though or although and scene. Then you say to kids, what did you notice the 3 steps that I took? Great. What do you notice the 3 steps that I took? And then finally, so what do we always need to do when we see a prompt where we have to agree or disagree? And what's the key point that you want students to stamp there?
You're stating your belief, and you have to argue it. Or argue it through having a comprehensive understanding with the other side.
Amazing. Yeah. Great. When can we do this model reteach?
Giving myself a realistic deadline.
Yep.
No, not Wednesday, because we have a quiz.
Thursday.
Okay.
Do it Thursday. It comes right after the do now.
Yep.
It's really quick. And then there's some quick test for uptake. Proposal and test for uptake is this prompt. Montag believes burning books is acceptable. Saucy. Agree or disagree? Okay. I'm gonna type this up and send it over to you. I appreciate you. All my next step for you in tweaking Wednesday's plan to get ready for the weekly quiz is just
Okay.
cool.
Appreciate you.
Back at ya.